Listen.
Doing something you haven't heard before.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of GFCC Students Live. I'm so glad that you've joined us here. This is our 7th week. We're getting really good at this, hopefully. But here we are, almost 2 months into this quarantine time. And, man, I'm just glad that we can do this and get together in this way. We have a lot of great things planned for you today. We have a special guest, Philip Reedy with FCA, is going to be joining us in a little bit as we just kind of dialogue back and forth with him. Last week, I asked you guys just to show me what you're doing. Maybe you're learning a new hobby, have a new project, made a new game, whatever it is, just to entertain yourself, and let me know what that was. Well, Declan Graber went ahead and got in touch with me and showed me some of the stuff that he's doing. So we just want to share that with you guys. See, he took this idea and he built a fish pond. You can see in these pictures here. He dug that by hand. He went down and he got all that rock, loaded that rock up and brought it up and created that. He put plants around it that he found in the woods as well. There's bass and bluegill, some other fish that he caught. It's got a fountain in there and it's solar powered. It's a pretty awesome project. So great job, Declan. You did an awesome job with that. It was really cool to be out there and just talk with him and just find out how he did that. So maybe you have a project. Maybe you've done something over these past 2 months. Let me know what it is. We're going to give Declan something right now. We're gonna see just for getting in touch with me and showing me that. We're going to see what it is that he wins. And we got to go to this next scene. Here we go. Declan is going to win some kahunas. Man, I'm going to deliver kahunas to you sometime this next week. You let me know what it is that you want, your favorite burger, whatever that you get at Kahunas. Let me know. I will hand deliver that to you, and you can eat that in front of your entire family and make them all jealous. But, hey, you have a chance to win a prize as well. So come up with something. If you haven't come up with something yet, do it this week. Let me know what it is, and we'll pick a random winner and let you know who that is. All right? So I want to go ahead and introduce Philip Reedy to you guys. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. Hopefully you can see him there on the screen. How you doing tonight, Philip? Phil?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, before we get started, I just have a random question that I want to ask you. Here's a quick video of what that is. So the question is, which person from history would you most want to meet?
I mean, I feel like the canned answer has to be Jesus.
Okay.
But I won't go that route.
All right.
That's too easy. I would like to probably talk to probably Adam and Eve and just try to talk some sense into them, man. They ruined everything for us, so I'd like to talk to them.
All right. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to even be in the garden and see, like, man, you're walking with God. Like, why did you give that up, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, so Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You grew up not far from the Greenville area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, so I grew up in Brighton, Illinois, which is just about an hour away. It's close to like Alton, Jerseyville, in that area. I went to Southwestern Piasaw High School, so for those of you that go to Greenville High, you probably have heard of Southwestern Piasaw because they're in the same conference. But I grew up, like I said, in Brighton. I grew up there pretty much my entire life. I lived only one other place. I lived in North Carolina for a year when I was just a wee lad, just a little toddler. And I grew up in a very strong Christian household. My dad was in youth ministry for 20 plus years. And I just grew up going to church all the time. A lot of people go to church just on Sundays and maybe on Wednesdays. I was at church probably 4 or 5 times a week with my dad when he was preparing for sermons or whatever else he was doing. So I was in the church quite a bit. And whenever I wasn't in the church, I was either watching TV, playing video games, or most likely outside if it was nice. So I was playing outside all the time: basketball, baseball, football, hockey. A lot of times by myself, but I was doing that. So yeah.
So you said you're playing by yourself. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, so I have a little brother. His name is Andrew, and he just turned 20 last month. So it was nice to have a little brother, it is nice to have a little brother, but with the age difference, it was a little bit harder to like
Yeah.
be able to play together, maturity wise, but also just like different skill levels and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, you went to high school not far from Greenville. I'm assuming you were involved in some sports. You do FCA, right? You're involved in sports. You played against
mhm.
Greenville sometimes.
Yeah.
Did you guys win most of the time, or what was that?
It depended on the sport. When I played basketball for a few years, we did not usually win in basketball. And then towards the probably my junior and senior year in baseball, we would win a little bit more. But those first few years of high school baseball they're pretty tough because Greenville has always had a really good program, and they were definitely better than us the first year or two that I was there. But we ended up getting a couple wins whenever I was a junior and senior. So kind of levels out a little bit. But yeah, they've just had really good programs all across the board, it seems like, in high school sports. So
Cool. Hey, I did want to mention this, guys. If you have a question for Phil, leave it in the comments. We'll try to get some of those answered, maybe some of those good ones. If you do have some of those questions throughout this time, we are here together. But Phil, so I just want to ask you this question, right? You're working with a Christian organization, and you grew up in a Christian home, going to church all the time. When is it that you realized, like, hey, I need Jesus in my life? Like, when did that realization come to you to where you actually made a decision to follow after Jesus?
yeah, so I would say that there are probably two different moments because whenever I was a little kid, like I said, I grew up in the church. But whenever I was, I think 3 or 4, I remember I was laying in my bed and I think I just kind of felt a tug on my heart and went down the hall into my parents' room, and I just asked my dad if he would pray or just pray that prayer with me and just have the Lord be accepted into my heart as my Lord and Savior. But obviously at that age, there's only so much that you can comprehend with how that actually works. But I would say in high school is when I really started to understand what that meant a little bit more. When I was 16, my dad lovingly told me that my faith needed to become my own, and I needed to start, praying on my own and reading my Bible on my own and doing different things like that. I couldn't just have my parents do all of my praying for me and things like that. So I really had to make my faith my own in high school, which, as soon as that happened, it just kind of went on a wild ride, and then it's still been a wild ride ever since then, but a good one.
Yeah. That's awesome. Just hearing that, because you're so right. Like, we do as people, we have to have our own faith. Especially if you're growing up in the church and you're surrounded by it all the time. You're reading the Bible with your family. You're praying around the table, whatever it is that looks like. If we don't actually take that faith as our own, it ends up being just nothing, and it fizzles out pretty easily. So before we continue, though, guys, we're going to take a short break here really quick, and we are going to play a game. So get ready for that. It is now game time. We were playing the game, What is Behind the Mask? The reality is that we're all supposed to be wearing masks these days. Especially May 1st, the governor has required that if we're out in public places, we're all wearing masks. So we want to play a game, What's Behind the Mask? Each round, a mask will be covering someone or something's face, and it's going to be posed with a question with what is behind it. So you must choose the correct answer from the 3 options that are given. It is pretty basic. It becomes more and more ridiculous as we go on. How most things go. All right, here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to start right here. Number one is, what is the status of Chris Pratt's mouth behind the mask? What's going on back there? Is it A, closed? Is it B, open? Is it C, open with his tongue out? Based on the picture, what is it? A, B, C, or D? The correct answer is A. It is definitely closed, right? Okay, so now you get the picture. Great job for those of you who got it right. Keep a tally, see how many you can get right from here on out. The next one is, which Chris will you find behind this mask? You know, the hat is added to make it a little bit tougher in this. So is it A, Chris Evans, B, Chris Hemsworth, or C, Chris Pine? A, B, C, I almost said or D. There is no D. Anyway, correct answer is C, Chris Pine. Congratulations to those who got that one correct once again. All right, here we go. The next one is, what will we find Kanye doing behind this mask? Is he A, snarling, B, straight-faced, or C, smiling? Which is he? A, B, C, or D? And the correct answer for Kanye is straight-faced. Man, if you got that right, congratulations for you. Here we go. Let's move on. See what Lady Gaga's doing. What are we going to find her doing? Puckering her lips, gasping, or smirking? Puckering, gasping, or smirking. The correct answer is, in fact, puckering. Congratulations to those who got that one correct. Let's move on to the next one. What is the status of Jennifer Lawrence's mouth behind the mask? Is it A, closed? Is it B, open? Or is it C, open with her tongue out? A, B, C, or D? The correct answer is C, open with tongue out. I do not recommend you walking around in public with your mouth open, especially with your tongue out. First off, it's weird. Second off, it's not sanitary. Let's practice good hygiene, people. All right, here we go. What will we discover on Brad Pitt's face when we remove the mask? Is it A, clean shave, B, beard, or C, mustache? Is it A, clean shaven, B, beard, or C, does he have a mustache? The correct answer is C. He has a mustache on that picture. Congratulations to those of you who got that correct as well. The next one, how many teeth will be missing on this kid when we remove the mask? Oh, I almost lost my mask there. How many teeth will we see? Or will we not see? Will be missing? Is it A1? Is it B2? Or is it C4? I wanted to say 3. It's 4. C is 4. Alright. Confuse me when there's only 3 answers and they throw it up. Anyway, gotta be smarter than the test. Alright, here we go. Correct answer is 2. 2. So if you got that right, congratulations. And let's see this next one. What type of mouth does this emoji have behind the mask? Is it A, straight-faced? Is it B, half brown? Or is it C, there's no mouth at all? Correct answer is C, no mouth. Congratulations to those who got that correct. Now, is this not the cutest dog ever? I love Chocolate Labs. They are some of my favorite types of dogs. Kinds of dogs that are just great dogs. My parents have a Chocolate Lab named Nika. She's awesome. Anyway, pull off the mask, and what will you find in this dog's mouth? Will you find a biscuit, a bird, or a pacifier? A biscuit, a bird, or a pacifier? And the correct answer is C, a pacifier. Now, there's a really funny, interesting, gross, I don't know, whatever you want to say, story about my wife with her pacifier and dog when she was a child. You should ask her about it sometime. I'm sure she'd love to share. If not, her mom would definitely do that. All right, here we go. What topping is missing behind the mask of this deluxe cheeseburger? Which one is not there? Is it mayo, bacon, or onion? Which one is missing? Mayo, bacon, or onion? The correct answer is bacon. Bacon is missing. Man, it can't, you want a deluxe burger, it's gotta have bacon, right? There's no bacon on that sandwich. I can't believe they put the tomatoes on, but left the bacon off. That's simply ridiculous. Hey, thanks for playing this game. What is behind the mask? You had a great time. Hope you had a lot of fun with that. We're gonna get back here in a second. But before we get back to Phil, just remember, start wearing your mask in public. If you're going out in public, for your safety, for everyone's safety, let's do this. Let's band together. Let's work together to knock this thing out so that way we can get back to life the way we want to. All right? All right, so here we are with Phil Reedy. Remember, if you have a question for him, leave it in the comment section. Hopefully we'll get to it. We did have one question already, Phil. So the question was, do you like to go fishing?
Do I like to go fishing? I have not been fishing for a while. I do have a buddy that I talked to just a few hours ago that brought me some crappie for me to make
Nice.
Some tacos with it. So that's really helpful. But he said that I can go fishing with him anytime. But I used to go fishing with my grandpa a lot, and just a lot of good memories there. But I do enjoy it. I just don't do it as much as I should.
Yeah, so. I totally get that. I'm the same way. So I have a question. Is there like a funny story or a unique story from your childhood, junior high, high school time, anything like that is just like, man, this like embodies who Phil Reedy is, that you'd be willing to share with everybody?
Oh, embodies who I am.
Or just a funny story. Doesn't matter what it is. Like,
so one time when I was in sixth grade, I was very competitive back then. I'm still pretty competitive now, but in PE we had a little game. I think it was called prison ball or something like that. But I got really competitive, and I was like trying to guard some, I think it was like bowling pins or something like that, because if you knocked all the bowling pins down, the other team would win. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying my best to like block them all, and I just totally split my pants right in the front, right in front of everybody.
That's awesome.
And I had to not only stop playing, which was devastating, but I also ripped my pants, and I had to go to the office for my mom to come bring me new pants. So it was not a good day in the life of little Philip Reedy. So
that's awesome. That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Yeah, happens to the best of them, right? So, so throughout your time, junior high, high school, you obviously were involved in sports, and you even played sports, and you went to Greenville University, right? So yeah. Is that why you went to Greenville, or what kind of drew you to go to a Christian university?
Yeah, so whenever I was looking for colleges after I graduated high school, or kind of during my senior year, I did a lot of research for a lot of local schools. I didn't really want to go too far. Like I said, I have a little brother, and at that time he was about to go into high school, and so I didn't really want to be too far away to where I would miss a whole lot with him going through high school, and also just I really love my family, and so being close to home, or like close enough to home, was important. I really wanted to go to a place where I had an opportunity to play baseball. I wasn't an incredible baseball player. I only had probably 2 or 3 places that I could have gone and played. But I really was drawn by the coaching staff and just, what Greenville stood for. I wanted to get a business degree, and I wanted to go to a place that would encourage me in my faith and help me grow in that. And so that one was kind of the most important facet of it. But Greenville was kind of like the perfect place because it kind of, hit every box on my checklist. So I think it was a little bit into April of my senior year when I committed to Greenville, and very thankful that I did.
Awesome. That's cool. So you went to Greenville. You were going to study business. Is that what you ended up studying and getting your degree in?
Yeah, so I double majored in marketing and also in business management.
Gotcha. And now you're working with FCA. Now, what is your title, your exact title with that?
Yeah, so it is called an area representative. There are some people, depending on where you're at in the country, that calls it a field rep. But other than that, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, and so what do you do for your job with FCA? And what does FCA do as a ministry?
So FCA is a ministry that is a lot, like its main focus is discipleship. So basically the biggest part of my job is to go into schools and start walking alongside coaches in their spiritual life and try to engage with them and help them grow, so that way they can become coaches that embody Christ more, but also so that way they can make disciples with their FCA groups and with their athletes that they are the coach of. And so a lot of what I do is the discipleship aspect of it, but I also help put on events like FCA power camps over the summer and banquets and fundraisers and like all kinds of different things like that. So that's another piece of it. And then support raising and fundraising, kind of like a missionary would. So those are the three probably biggest parts of my job.
Okay, that's awesome. I love hearing the aspect of, the discipleship aspect of that, because we're all called to be disciples who make other disciples, whether we're in junior high or whether we're adults. And so sports is just a unique opportunity for us to be involved in that. So we have students from Mulberry, we have students from Greenville and Pokey and Sorrento. How would you tell, if a student was like, hey, how do I get involved in FCA? What would you tell them?
Yeah, so if you are at if you're at Mulberry Grove, you can talk to either Chrissy Matthews or Scott Voiles. Their huddle is both junior high and high school, just because there aren't as many kids in that school. So they all meet together at one, and they have a weekly FCA huddle. I've been to it a couple times, and excuse me, and the students that have been there have done a great job with it. I've enjoyed being over there and just getting to see how it operates. And if you're in Greenville, I don't know if the junior high had a whole lot going on this last year, but maybe this next fall we'll be able to get something started up. But if you're in high school, Mrs. Zerlini, she's a new teacher this year. She is the FCA huddle coach. So those are the people that are leading the huddles. But honestly, you could ask around with different kids in your class, and I'm sure that you could find somebody that actually goes to the FCA huddles and just join with them and just see how you like it.
Yeah, and it's just an opportunity to grow together, and it's mostly student led. From my experience being in that, I mean, there's an advisor, but students kind of get to take over that. So if that's something you're interested in, you love doing sports and you're a Christian and you want to just help other people and just learn some leadership skills and life skills and just things like that, and FCA would be a great opportunity for you to get plugged into. We'd love to see more of our students involved in that and taking on leadership roles within that. So just encourage you to do that. And we're kind of going to wrap up our time here. So Phil, just kind of on an end note, what if you could look back over your life? I have two questions for you here. If you could look back over your junior high and high school life, like what is like the greatest piece of advice you ever received in that, or like one that just kind of sticks with you that, somebody said something and it just, has never left you, whether it's a coach or a teacher or.
Yeah. I would say that, I've had a lot of coaches that have said some really wise things to me, but I would say one of the wisest things that I've heard is nothing is ever as good as it seems, or nothing is ever as bad as it seems. So just trying to stay even keel, and if there's something crazy going on, it's only going to get better, and it's the Lord's got it in His control. So
that's like perfect for what we're going through right now, right? I mean, there's people that just think the world's going to end, and people saying is a joke. It's great advice. And so I guess just absolutely. What would you say to a junior high school student? You're just like, man, this is the best thing I can say to you that's going to change your life, or the best advice that you can give to a student.
So I would say that just start taking your relationship with the Lord seriously from a young age. You will be building your foundation of your faith during this time, and it's really good to get your foundation from Scripture and from praying. But obviously, at that age, it's difficult to understand a lot of the things that are going on. So don't be afraid to ask questions to people that are older than you, maybe have been in their faith longer than you have, because they have some insights and wisdom to share with you. And I wish that I would have done that more, talking to other people. Like I said earlier, I have a dad that's been in ministry for a long time, but that's just one perspective. And so I would have loved to been able to get more perspectives from other people and build an even stronger foundation. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Is there? I said I only have two questions, but I was curious. Is there like a verse of the Bible that just kind of, man, it's kind of like a life verse for you, or one that you just kind of go back to on a regular basis before we wrap up here, that the students, you'd share with them?
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly like different seasons of my life where a verse has spoken to me more so than others. Um, but I would say recently that Second Peter 1:3 basically just says like that we have everything that we could possibly need in Christ, and so whatever you're going through, Christ is your rock and is the answer to healing and love and peace and joy and all of those things. So I would say right now that Second Peter 1:3 is where I'm gonna plant my feet here.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks again, Phil. Really appreciate you and the Ministry of FCA and what you're doing here in Bond County, especially. But I know this isn't the only county you work in, and so we're just appreciative of all the work that you're doing. Thanks for taking the time out of your night to join us here, guys. If you want to get in touch with Phil at all, we're going to leave his contact information in the description below, so that way, if you want to, you find him on Instagram or Facebook, or send him an email if anything he said kind of resonates with you, or you have a question for him. He's willing and open to having that dialogue with you further. So again, just thank you, Phil. So glad you were here. Hope things are going well for you, and you have a great rest of your summer, or a great summer as you planted different things for Power Camp. So, Hey guys, we are going to go ahead and move into a time where we are going to give things away once again. This past week we had two giveaways. I was unfortunately only able to deliver one of those things. Mackenzie Reedy, I got in touch with her. The Creekside Community Brew didn't have any of their stuff to make frappuccinos this week, so we couldn't deliver that to her, but I'm going to get that to her next week. But we were able to deliver to Deacon Graber a case of 12-pack of ski, and so there he is holding that. Congratulations, Deacon, on that. And remember, if you have commented below, you have been thrown into the app in order to do that next giveaway. So you'll see those names up behind me on the screen here in just a second as Jesse gets that put together to see who our winner is, and then we'll spin that dial and see what it is that you won this week. All right, are you ready, Jesse?
I'm ready.
Sweet. Here we go. Yep, I'm ready whenever you are. You going to put it on the screen behind me?
Yeah.
Nope. All right, here we go. Go ahead and stop at any time. Ezekiel Dietz. We're going to have to mail something to you, man. You know what? Because I'm not sure anything that we have is actually mailable. We're going to give something else to you. We'll figure it out this week because I'm not driving to Columbia. But hey, Zeke, we're so glad that you join us each and every week. If you guys don't know, Zeke and his family moved recently, and they still log in each and every week. And so we'll get you something this week. Not sure quite what that will be, but I'll get in touch with you sometime soon in the near future and let you know what it is that we're given. So, hey, once again, guys, so glad that you have joined us here. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to join us Sunday morning at 10 a.m. here on YouTube for our church service, and then once again back here next week. Have a great week.